That's why we conclude our session with an idea of how exactly Oracle's architecture comes in front of us. So we are just going with the criteria of implementation. We were just having one concept that we have an administrator's view and we have a developer's view. Now we are going to give major focus towards the developer's view. But technically, a developer should understand certain activities of DBA. You don't need to do the activities of DBA. Just try to catch my words carefully. You need to understand the activities of DBA, that what work a DBA does and what work as a developer you should do. Now, taking all these things is okay, but we want to just understand that how Oracle is definitely finalizing and promising the security behind those particular files, why those files are physically stored under your particular operating system, and how these files cannot be physically identified and how they can be protected physically at any point of time. Now for that, you need to just come along with me to the next level. We have an operating system that is already installed in our machine wherever you are expecting your Oracle to run. Now once your operating system is installed, you know very well that OS takes the overall control of the hardware. OS always takes the overall control of the hardware that is operating on that particular piece of the machine, not letting the users directly go and talk to the hardware. Until we do not communicate with hardware, we cannot do any kind of work. But to communicate with the hardware, we are not allowed directly. OS will come into the picture here. So the only thing is what now? Because I am not given permission directly to communicate with my hardware, the only thing that is left is to communicate with my OS now. Now how to communicate with OS? There are multiple number of ways to communicate with OS. One of the methodology is what you already know and fundamentally you could have been experiencing. There is nothing but the command prompt. One of the method what we generally consider whenever we are working with the operating system for communication is nothing but the command prompt. Just pull it. So whenever we are trying to work with the criteria of the process, this command prompt is something that will make us associate with the OS now. Now in a Windows-like environment or DOS-like environment, we generally have some C drive or D drive and we start communicating with that. When we are working in Linux or Unix environment, you may call it as a bash or shell prompt, whatever it is now. But somewhere the prompt is there. What is the fundamental limitation of the command prompt? Can you tell me? Certain things you should tell me, certain things I will definitely tell you. What is the fundamental limitation of the command prompt? Many are there. At least one can I get from you. No, I am not interested in user friendly because we are not end users, we are professionals. What is that single individual point that you can really say about a command prompt's limitation? We have to type? Okay, without typing we cannot execute, that's a fact now. Yes? One command at a time. That's the main limitation. The main limitation of the command prompt is we can always execute only one command at a time. It cannot take multiple commands at a time. But to complete one process, only with one command we can complete the process, or we need multiple commands. When we want to complete one process, with one command we can complete, or we need multiple commands. Multiple commands. To complete any process, we need multiple commands. That's first point. Second point is, there are many number of cases where the output of one command should become input to the next command. There are so many number of commands which always work taking input from the result of the previous command. Now when I want to give any output of one command as input to another command, at command prompt it is not possible. Why? Because command prompt does not have the ability of creating the variable, storing the data in the variable and carrying the data to the next level. So that integration that is expected sometimes to complete some task. I am making it very clear that integration that is essential to complete certain tasks is not possible from the command prompts. There's a second disadvantage of the command prompt. Above all these things, the third, command prompt is always driven only by those commands that are provided by the OS. Command prompt is always driven by only those commands that are provided by the OS. Be very sure about it. And there are many number of features and facilities what OS internally can have, but for all the features and facilities it may not provide you the command. And one command can be operated in different number of ways by passing the parameters. Command can be controlled by what? Parameters. When I can control my command with the parameters, now that parametrical control may not be possible to the effectiveness what I am expecting from the command prompt. So these are all limitations. If we do not really understand, then technically we will lose certain kind of concepts that will go out of our brain. That's it. I am not saying that sitting in this class, if you are a computer science graduate, you don't know what is a command prompt, you don't know what to do with a command prompt. But what I am saying is these fundamental limitations, do we have an idea? Okay, limitations are there, we cannot deny them. But keeping the limitations as one of the reason, we cannot tell the client, I cannot give you the product. So the first thing any software engineer should always try to learn is, from our dictionaries, we should remove the word called as, this is not possible. You are always a wonderful software engineer with great success when you can remove this word from your dictionary. Anybody if he says that this is impossible, it is wrong, because we are born to make everything possible being software engineers. So that limitation should not make us think that it is not possible. Limitation is saying that with this concept it is not possible. Think something other than this. A software engineer's life is always to know what is possible by this technology, what is not possible by this technology, what is not possible, how I can make it possible by some other technology. This linearity is not there. You will always stop where you are because you found one reason. It is not possible. So these all limitations should not stop us. There is no system in the world that does not have limitations. Your expectations are beyond the limitations. Understand how to make the system to work with respect to those limitations, extending with those extensions. That's your job. Therefore, if my command prompt cannot help me with what I am expecting, is there any alternate method provided by operating system or not that can make me communicate with multiple commands? No. There are only two methods here. One, either discard this operating system, reinvent a new operating system from your side, because what you need, you only should develop it. Nobody will sit and develop for you. Else, what is your limitation? Can you break that limitation by anything that could be very special within the same thing and find the particular area where it can be implemented? In that way, if we are concentrating, the another way of communicating with the operating system is what? Another way of communicating with the operating system is using shell scripting. The operating system is providing one facility called as shell scripting. What is meant by the shell scripting now? Nothing. I can execute only one command at my command prompt, but I need multiple commands to execute at a time. Take all the commands what you want to execute one after the another in a proper order and put them into one file called as a shell script. So shell script is not too complicated. Shell script is only nothing but a small piece of file created by the developers, keeping all the commands of the operating system that are essential to complete your work in a proper order. Because any command prompt is an interpreter. Any command prompt is nothing but an interpreter. Means it is having the ability of executing one command at a time. Means it's nothing but an interpreter. And every command prompt has the ability of opening one file. Whenever a file is opened, definitely we open the file from beginning of the file. Pointer automatically travels continuously in the file, goes to the end of the file. Now when the pointer is moving in my file, each line is one command of the OS. Then automatically command prompt interprets that particular command and executes that command without my knowledge. That's the nature what command prompt has now. If I understood that particular nature, then I know that command prompt can execute only one command at a time. Then I'll keep all the commands what I need in a particular order and in a sequence what I need, and I'll push that into one file. I'll call that file as a shell script. The shell script will act as a batch mode, and I'll call that particular shell script at my command prompt. Command prompt opens the file, reads line by line of the command, executes all the commands whatever I need. Finally my task is completed. Limitation extended by understanding the feature and facility. You do not understand that feature and facility, you'll stuck yourself at the limitation as it is. And you'll go on giving one reason to the world. It cannot happen because you are not able to think, and you are thinking that it never happens is wrong. There are how many times, that's what I was saying in every class, how many times you feel that you are a person who can always think out of the box. Now shell script is making the limitation of the command prompt to be avoided. Do you agree with me? Yes or no? But shell script also has its own limitations. What is that? A shell script can always help you to communicate with commands that are only in association with the operating system. A shell script can take multiple commands, nobody is denying that. But a shell script is always designed in such a way that we can keep a list of commands of only OS, not more than that. But certain times, what OS is doing, I don't have any complaints. But the way it is doing is not looking sufficient for me. Mean that work what OS is doing, if I can extend that work by another 2%, I can give some solution to my client. But I cannot tell my operating system, please change this work by adding that extra 2% of what I need. OS says, we did not design the operating system keeping you in the mind. We have designed operating system keeping multiple different number of people who are there in the world in the mind. Therefore, for you, I cannot change my OS. So, change is not possible as expected by the OS. OS has already said. But my client is saying that I want that additional 2% compulsorily. There are only two things once again here. Either you sit and you start developing on your own some new operating system for that 2% extra what you are expecting because this OS cannot provide you. Now developing an operating system exclusively for one client and then billing that particular product is foolishness because your operating system nobody else may take it. So I don't think there's any meaning in developing that new technology only for that single client. But you cannot lose that client also. Why? The client is saying that if this extension can be given, I will give you 4 times more than what you are expecting in the billing. My billing is already say like 100 crores month. And he's saying that 4 times more I will give you if you can give this 2% extra. Now that is really encouraging for me now. But for that purpose I am not ready to develop one technology once again for sake of my client. How you can think of extending once again now? If OS is having any facility for that. That's how any technology you learn, you should always have the ability of putting your effort on the technology again and again to know the limitations of that particular technology and extensions, how it can be done. That's where your success starts as a software engineer. Learning a technology is not the final point. Be very clear about that. So once again, if we can go into the OS, And if you can look into the OS itself, OS provides you another kind of area that is called as system calls. Within the OS, we have a huge amount of system calls. System calls are nothing but specialized functions or methods that are designed by the operating system, where these functions are internally operating via some language that is basically used for developing that OS. Every function having its own name and its own parameters or arguments what you can pass, and internally that particular function can do the job. Without those system calls, no OS can work. To be frank enough, the commands what you execute at the command prompt, or the commands what you keep into the shell script and you execute them as a batch, these all commands are internally using the services of the system calls only. Without communicating with the system calls, no OS command will work. So every command in OS is abstracting the system call. It is hiding the system calls actually. If I know that my operating system is developed using C language or C++, then if I can understand the system calls that are used by my operating system, I can write my program in my language of C or C++, overriding the existing system calls that are already there in my operating system, giving them parameters as per the requirement of what I am having, putting my particular definition of the code that is overloaded with respect to the OS code to do some activities what I am expecting that can be extending my operating system because I am working at the core of the programming language what my OS is using. These kind of programmers who design these system calls, they are basically called as kernel programmers or system programmers. Very critical, complicated, and they are very intelligent programmers, I can say, in the world. If these kernel or system programmers are not there, today you cannot enjoy your life in the world of IT. These are the people who always understand the internals of the operating system, recognize the limitations of it, understand the functionalities that are available, write the programming which can communicate with the system calls to give you something that is more better in implementation than what the OS is going for limitation. So these people will program the OS, they will program the OS to do some activities which are above the operating system. All this is one interfacing level of your OS. Now finally OS has to go and communicate with hardware. That is the final goal. Now these system calls, they will talk to a component called as a kernel, or it is generally called as HAL, Hardware Abstraction Layer. So in Windows we call it as HAL, and in Linux or Linux we call it as a kernel. Kernel is nothing but one layer of software which is part of your operating system, which is the only component that has the ability to go and talk to the hardware. This kernel goes and starts speaking with the hardware that is fundamentally existing, but which hardware is connected where in my machine now. To know that, your kernel is interconnected with one particular controller in your computer that is called as IRQ controller, interrupt request controller, where the interrupt request controller is nothing but one controller mechanism that knows which hardware device is connected on your particular computer at which address. The physical address will be known to this IRQ controller. Kernel will go and hit that particular address, and the device will start speaking with the OS. Through this IRQ controller only, we will start extending ourselves to the disk controller. There are many number of controllers now. We are only talking about what? Storage device. So storage device will be containing its own controller, how the storage device has to work, and that particular controller is called as disk controller. So IRQ controller will give the address of the disk controller to kernel. Once this address is ready, we are able to talk to the disk. But within the disk, we are trying to store the data permanently. So our data is in which form? File format. So that file format is something that is planned by the OS in association with the kernel. Means according to the operating system's file structure architecture only we can communicate. Therefore, anytime you want to store any data within your hardware, you should always understand the OS format of the file. If OS format of the file management is not known to you, then you cannot keep the files. Now, these file structures are visualized something like this by us. These files should have the ability of contacting the disk controller, and the disk controller is keeping the data into the disk. All this is happening on which side? Tell me now. Operating system side. Operating system is database or it's not a database? It's not a database. It is only a software that is designed exclusively for operating your particular systems. That is nothing but a computer. But any software has to load onto this OS or no? Yes or no? If the software doesn't know how to communicate with OS, can you do any operations with your software? Well, no. Here the main question comes. To communicate with OS, anybody can communicate or only few people can communicate? Anybody can communicate. Via? Tell me now, via command prompt, via shell scripting, via system calls. Now system calls, people are the most intelligent people. They can directly contact kernel and they can go to the hardware itself. So what is the problem here? Can you tell me now? These are all things are looking advantage only, no doubt. But can you find any kind of limitations or disadvantages here? Tell me. Security. Why? Because if any file is created by OS, OS is the in charge. Now OS will damage the file or destruct the file or what it does and is bothered. But any business data is my data now. Now when I say it's my business data, I do definitely have certain restrictions that my business data, these people should see, these people should not see, these people can copy, they cannot copy. Some restrictions I'll have according to my business now. But once I keep my file in my disk via the control of the OS, anybody who contacts OS, he can always try to make damage to my files. Do you agree with me? Are you agreeing or not? Yes. So what is the proof? Now you are coming along with me for next 2 minutes. Total solution is yours only. I'll only help you. I open which software now? Microsoft Word. It's a Microsoft Word, which is one of the tool that is working under one particular package called as what? Microsoft Office. Are you catching me? It's working under Microsoft Office. Now watch carefully one thing now. I am preparing my curriculum vitae, let us say. I am preparing this curriculum vitae in which particular tool? Tell me. I am preparing this in my particular Microsoft Word. 1000 times I ask you, you should tell now, okay? You should not tell me, sir, just now we told you. Then I'll ask you once again. So 1000 times you should tell me now. Now in my Microsoft Word, I am trying to say name. Then I am just trying to keep the criteria of that particular formatting. I start formatting my particular component. Then I kept my another format here. Then I started saying that's my name. Then I want some space between the curriculum vitae and this. So I started saying that space was given now. Then I went with my, say like, father's name, then I'm just keeping it there and I'm just trying to say, so that's the name of my father what I gave there, Now once again I'm going with my process. I think I'm preparing some data of mine in a specific kind of tool called as what? Microsoft Word, under the package of Microsoft Office, installed and configured on my OS called as Windows 7 on my hardware architecture that is available. Finally, I should save this. I'm saving. Who is providing me the interface for saving? Who is providing me the interface for saving? Microsoft Word is providing. Connecting to OS. OS connected to disk, hardware. So it's asking me where do you want to save it. Say like I selected something like E drive. Then I just created, suppose like one of the criteria of the new folder. And then I just said like my resume. That is my folder what I created. I open my folder and then I just try to say like this is my curriculum vitae. And I saved it. File went in now. Okay. Where is my file now? In the hard drive. Under the control of OS. Are you getting me? This OS has given permission to MS Word to create this particular file. Finally, the software that was used to create this file is what? MS Word. Now I close this MS Word. MS Word session is closed or not closed now? Closed. Now the file which is there in the OS, watch carefully now. Now I am opening my operating system interface. Do you agree with me? Is this MS Word interface or operating system interface? Operating system. Now I went into my particular location where my resume is there. Now who is operating system to tell me where my file is there? I made this process through MS Word. Without the intention of the MS Word, my OS is telling me that your file is there, you can take it now. Who is OS to show me directly like this, where the original software that I have used is already closed. Means to be frank enough, you use any software in OS, after that software is effectively implementing all the activities, the software closes. The total data and the file and everything is in the control of OS. Now, this file that is available here, I am cutting this file now. To cut, which command I used? My OS command I used. Yes or no? Who is my OS to cut this file which I prepared in MS Word? Does my MS Word knows that I am cutting this particular file from here? No. Now I am taking this particular file and I am pasting it in my D drive now. My OS has physically migrated my file from the E drive to D drive. Tomorrow, see everything we are doing today. Tomorrow I'll go and I'll open my MS Word, saying that I want my curriculum vitae. Immediately my application is opened or not opened, because it is latest operating systems. It is taking the reference and it's moving. But you try to do the same thing by working with the process, because you know that there is an interface. Suppose like tomorrow if you are opening the file, from where you will try to open? You will try to go to your E drive only. In my resume you will search, you don't find it. It's a normal simple file, it's not a problem. Imagine if business data is moved like this by anybody to any place now, and through your software you are searching in that place where you have kept it now. That's first thing. Second thing, second problem is what? Now this file was created in MS Word. Now watch carefully, I am right clicking my mouse button at the operating system level. Okay. Now I am saying that I want to open this file with Notepad++. But Notepad++ was not the original file from where we created it. Are you catching the point now? But if you just watch, this is opening now. Now it is understandable, not understandable is not the criteria. Who is operating system to make Notepad++, which is not at all anywhere related to this document file, to open the file and show me some useless data in that once again. Now I am not only opening this file. See, people can be of different construction. So what I did is, I selected some part of this data now. I selected this data which is not at all understandable by us and I deleted it. Then I saved it. Who saved my file now? Notepad++ has saved the file. But actually, who has created this file? MS Word has created the file. Without the intention of the MS Word, Notepad has opened because OS gave the permission now. And it also not opened the file. You selected some part of the data, you deleted now. And after deleting that particular piece of the file, now watch carefully, we went into MS Word once again. And we should open the curriculum vitae. My data got damaged. Now I should ask MS Word or I should ask OS with respect to this misbehavior. Whom I should keep as a responsibility for this? OS says, it is none of my business. Your data, your file, you protect it. Why the hell I should protect it now? Giving you an opportunity to install your software on my operating system itself is the biggest privilege I gave you. Now your files, what you created, where did you save it? That place where you saved those files, and to see that those files are not opening in another software, that is your headache, it's not my headache. As an operating system, my headache is, if somebody asks me to open the file, I will open the file. Because as an operating system, my job is to open the file. And after opening, if somebody damages it, that's not my problem, because my job is to store the data, read the data, write the data. I am doing that only. Now, by which software you have stored the data, by which software you are reading it, I will not care on that. If your file should not be opened by somebody other than your software, and it should not be moved from one place to another place, you protect it. If somebody asks me, please move the file, I will move it, because as an operating system, my job is to move. I will do it. You cannot stop me. Your file should not move until and unless the instruction does not come from your software only. Then you should tell me that. How I will know your file should not be moved by somebody else? Your system's requirement I cannot know. I will follow my requirements. Operating systems are secured or not secured? Tell me now. Sure. Then why we are using them? But I think when you open any book and you read, OS is very secure. That's what it says, no. So the world is correct or we are correct now? That's where we should start breaking the process now. Above all these things, this file is created by which particular software? MS Word. Currently it is where? Under the control of the OS. I am deleting this file now, let us say. I am deleting this particular file. Who is OS to delete my file now? So, once you release your data file into the OS, your software has no control on that. Who takes the domination? OS. With anybody who knows how to connect from OS, he can directly access your file and he can directly operate your file, he can copy your file, he can delete your file, he can move your file, he can change your file also. With all these kind of problems, how Oracle database is saying that it is more safe and secure, keeping the file there only? See, I know that this person is a thief man, but even then I am giving him some money and saying that तेरे पास रख ले, बाद में पूछूंगा. How much dare I should have now? The other guy is coming and saying, yeah, that guy is a thief, how you are giving him? Then I am saying that my money he will never misuse. That's my confidence. So for the sake of OS, Oracle cannot invent another OS now. If Oracle Corporation invents another OS, who will purchase it? And how many operating systems should come like this now? Microsoft Word operating system, Microsoft Excel operating system, Edit Plus operating system. For everything an operating system should be there. How many you will install on your machines now? Technology, how it drives is very important. We are not bothered with other all softwares in the world. Our botheration is only Oracle now. How Oracle will do this job? Let us catch the things in the next 15 minutes now. We said Oracle has two steps. What are they? Installation and configuration. First, Oracle's installation should complete. On your machine, first we should complete installation. In installation, we will tell Oracle, we tell operating system that I am so and so software. I want to get installed in so and so place. I want this much of memory on your machine. This much of hard disk I need. These things will send to the OS. OS will accept all these parameters and then tells Oracle, okay, you can install on my machine. Because until OS does not give permission, we cannot install. So once OS gives us permission, we install our Oracle software. Once software installation of Oracle is completed, then configuration will start. Configuration is something where Oracle is making its environment to get adjusted according to its necessity, giving some instructions to OS, saying that I am so and so kind of software. When I am on your machine, I will follow all your architectural standards, but I have my own mechanism and methodology to operate my data. I will never trouble your data, I will never trouble any other software's data. But my data, when it is part of my machine, these are my rules and regulations. Please remember all these rules and regulations and then only keep my data files in your machine. When somebody is asking you this data file from your command prompt, you try to read the rules and regulations, what we signatured between both of us. If the signature of the rules and regulations are matching, then only open the file, else give the message to the end user, you don't have permissions on this particular file. So what Oracle finally is saying is, if this file is given by me for storage, in future I will ask you to open the file, then only open the file. If somebody else comes and tells you to open the file, don't open. So request and response should be between you and me only. That signature will be done by your Oracle the moment the configuration of Oracle is completed. So configuration is nothing but a mechanism of protocol of signatures that are designed between your OS and Oracle Corporation or Oracle software. So what happens now? On your machine, Oracle, once installation is completed, it creates its own private space. Be very, very clear about that. Oracle creates its own private space. Now OS knows how to communicate with its hardware. Are you catching the point now? Now 100% hardware authority is by the OS only. Nobody can do that job. Without contacting OS, I cannot go to its hardware now. But through OS command prompt also, everybody can touch the same hardware now. I cannot tell OS that because I am Oracle, please keep my data in separate hard disk now. If suppose there is only one hard disk, so these all things are not possible. Whatever is happening in the world should happen, but it should be secure. Finally, that is the concept. So it's as simple as that. When in and around your house, because you are having 10 thieves, will you try to run away from that street? No. You have to live there only. Are we not living in our country? So it's the same thing. You cannot leave and run away. You should know how to feel secure about it. That's all. Oracle's fundamental, any software's concept is same. For the sake of that software, OS will never change. Understanding the OS limitations, I have designed my software. That's the criteria. So between OS and my Oracle, there should be some signature of communication for proper authentication now. How OS knows my Oracle is connecting and it's communicating, because on OS 100 softwares can be there. And OS cannot understand Oracle commands. Oracle cannot understand OS commands. These two systems are not having the same command structure. So between the OS and our Oracle, we will establish one port number. Okay? On any machine where you are installing your OS, before we try to install our Oracle, Oracle software after its installation is completed, catch my words, Oracle software after its installation is completed, while it is configuring, it should tell the operating system that these are the data files belonging to me and anybody other than me are asking for it. Don't show them, don't give them, don't operate on them. Then OS says, how I will know which are your files now? Because every file has what one file name, some extension path. But how it can know this is this file of so and so? So now OS says, okay, between you and me, let us signature one port number. Port number is like some gateway pass. It's something like an identity card now. Are you catching me? Now, OS says, I will release one port number for you. Through that port number only, you should communicate with me. When any request comes from that port number, I'll think you are communicating with me. Finish. So that port number is one number that is in communication between OS and Oracle now. Default port number is 1521. Default port number is 1521 and administrators can change this port number. Don't worry about that. Once the port number confirmation has been completed, both have accepted it, then Oracle starts configuration now. Because until port number is not finalized, Oracle cannot configure it. So Oracle starts configuring. Configuring means Oracle creates its own private area now. Within the hard disk only, where it has to keep the data, everything is clear, but it says that this is my private area. So within that particular private area, Oracle database environment is set up now. So Oracle's database is one kind of environment created, configured by Oracle upon the OS. Now within this Oracle database environment, Oracle says that you should keep, means developers and administrators, you think anything is Oracle component, keep it in my environment only. Now how to keep this in OS, that is my job. You don't go and touch the OS now. So Oracle database developers, that's the reason we don't touch anything in OS directly. But we should have one common sense that OS is existing on that side. It's not exaggeration. In interview rooms, we'll face some questions you can't even imagine. I'm telling you. He'll keep 2 or 3 years experience. He'll come and say that he's an Oracle developer. We'll ask all Oracle questions. He'll be answering very happily. Suddenly in the middle of it, we'll say, what is the operating system of your Oracle? Okay? What is the operating system of your Oracle? Okay, few students will say the operating system. There are students I have seen in my career who say, sir, my Oracle has no operating system. There are students. Sir, my Oracle has no operating system. We'll say why? We don't discourage him, we'll encourage him. Why? Sir, database is independent of OS. Imagine this gentleman has understood that statement in such a wonderful way. Database is independent of OS, means there is no OS. Now, can I consider this as ignorance? Tell me now. I'm not saying you could be doing it. I have seen people in my interview standards, and after that answer, imagine what kind of shock we will be having in our life now. So don't give such shocks to your interviewers now, because You will give the shock and you will go away happily. With that shock, the interviewer will give shock to another 10 people continuously. Your impact is so high, next 10 best people also, interviewer will think that all are idiots in front of me. In that mindset, he'll never select anybody. My kind request to you, damage your life, don't damage next 10 people's life. Some people will only enter into the interview room to keep the interviewer's mood to be highly irritated. He'll irritate the interviewer to the peak level, and the interviewer is boiling and he will be shaking now. Then next guy will come inside. That guy is really a cool guy. He says good morning. Then that good morning also interview will feel like irritation only. Don't do that, okay? So there are cases I have seen. So Oracle or any database in the world cannot work without an OS, but it creates its environment and tells the developers and DBAs that you have any object of your database, you keep in my environment, I will communicate with the OS. So that OS communication, finally who is taking responsibility? Database is taking responsibility now. Now it is taking the responsibility via one port number. So it tells OS, this is my port number, I am talking to you. Then OS understands, okay, this is a request from Oracle. Now according to Oracle's protocol only I should work. It will understand. Means every request you send from your database, it is signatured by the port number. That signature is not there, OS will never respond. OS says, sorry, you go away. Why? Because I did not get the protocol of the message. That's how the things will be happening. Therefore, within your Oracle database, once the environment is created, then the port number configuration is closed. Now within this Oracle database only you have to work now. You have to work. But that doesn't mean that outside the database what is happening you should not know. You don't need to do what is happening outside database, but you should know that something is happening outside database. So don't come with information that we expect and you don't have it and say that is ignorance now. We get very wonderful answers. We'll say like, you don't know any operating system. Sir, I'm not computer science student. Do you think that that is a reason for your answer? If an interviewer is a highly irritated guy, he says, if you're not computer science, why I should give you a job in computer sciences? Then this gentleman will be smiling. Mera hasi ko dekh ke de de. Don't do that. Don't do that. You're mechanical or civil, I don't care, man. You want a job in databases, you should know fundamental state of computer science. How dare you come and ask me that I'll work in your computer science field and I don't know anything in computer sciences. We are not saying that you should program that, at least you should know that. So, some things what we discuss, please at least catch up to that level. Now, once that configuration is completed, then the port number is allocated. Default port number is 1521. This can be changed by admin. 100% this can be changed by admins. Are you catching the point now? But when your machines are there, it is 1521. Then what happens? Somebody should communicate with Oracle now. To communicate with Oracle, who should provide the facility? Oracle only should provide, because if Oracle is saying that you don't go and talk to OS, then how to talk to Oracle? Oracle only should tell us. So finally we are communicating with whom now? Oracle. Oracle is communicating with OS. OS is communicating with hardware. So all that OS communication, hardware communication is the headache of Oracle Corporation. Our headache is what now? Understanding Oracle. That's the reason you are sitting in this class, to understand Oracle properly. So now Oracle is providing one interface for you. And that interface language is called as SQL Star Plus. So today you should not, or maybe tomorrow you should not ask me, sir, why I am learning SQL Star Plus now. I am making the point clearly. Now how you want to learn, that's your headache now. Sir, shall I need to learn SQL Star Plus? Choice is yours. You want career in databases that talk to Oracle or any database, you should know SQL, that's all. Sir, I am a front-end developer. Your front-end talks to database? Yes, sir, you should know SQL. Sir, I'm a middle layer programmer. Your middle layer talks to database? Yes, sir. You should know SQL. Sir, I'm a reporting developer. Your report goes and talks to database? Yes, sir. You should know SQL. Your technology doesn't go and talks to database. You don't need SQL. So you are taking a career. In that career, is databases part or not? Yes, you should know SQL. That's simple formula now. Therefore, why I should learn SQL? Now, I don't think I need to give you any answer now. You can decide those things. So, how best I should learn SQL? How much your technology depends on SQL? So, my technology depends on SQL by 60%. You should know 80% of SQL. That's as simple as it. Sir, else what happens? By the technology, you are not a failure. By implementation, you will never get your job. When you go to jobs, you will understand that. You got your job. You cannot keep your job. This is a fact. Therefore, somebody should tell you to learn SQL or not, that leave it. Now, it's your common sense, you can plan it now. Now, that SQL Star Plus will be having one small piece of interface that's called as SQL prompt. So, this is where we will communicate now. So, why I should understand SQL prompt? Because that is the only area from where you will type your SQL statements. Your statements go and connect to SQL Star Plus. SQL Star Plus is the only communication utility to communicate with Oracle database. After this, what is happening, you don't worry now. But as your experience goes on increasing, as your expertise increases, the other side of the story also should be clear to you by depth, I am telling you. Currently, I don't trouble you. Sir, I am already 5 years and I am keeping 5 years stake. How much you know about that 5 years? People should know about OS. Sir, I am a fresher. I don't know anything about databases or anything. I am just trying my job. As a fresher, how much you should know about the operating system? Do you know or not? As per your level of ability, that much of OS you should definitely understand. So, fundamental play cards are clear now. From SQL prompt, we will work because we are Oracle developers. From SQL prompt only, DBAs also will work. So, the interface for DBAs and developers is same. The language for DBAs and developers is same. Therefore, you know SQL, your DBA also knows SQL only. They don't use any other language. Therefore, you complete this course properly by learning SQL. You can even make your career towards DBA also. So, sir, I want to become a DBA, I want to become a developer. First, leave all those two things and first start understanding SQL. Later on, you can plan. Now, within your Oracle database environment, our objects will start now. Who is connecting to Oracle? How we can know? So, Oracle database configures in such a way that all the users in Oracle, they are kept in one metadata. All users in Oracle are kept in one metadata. So, your users are signatured in one place. The original name of these metadata objects I will tell you at the later stages. But I am keeping the names according to human beings' understandability. So, there are 3 minimum users I am showing you there. There will be many number of users, but out of that, sys is the highest user. So, the total admin control in Oracle will be under which user? Sys user. The second is the system user. System user is also one kind of administrative user only, but is only for operational administration. Sys is for architectural and operational administration. After that, other users will come, don't worry now. So, all your users are kept in one place. So, you are connecting to your particular Oracle definitely with one database user, which is given by your DBA. So, the moment you send the instruction from SQL, SQL Star Plus will take that instruction and it will go and checks whether you are available in the database of the users or not. If you are in the database users, you can connect to Oracle now. Okay, one particular issue is solved now. You entered into Oracle database or not? Yes. Now, after entering, what is the guarantee that it is secured? Why? I told in one of my class, you knocked this door and I opened it. You came into my environment now because I allowed you. After coming into this environment, I am telling you, don't touch that, don't see this, don't take this. As a human being, how many times you will listen? Whatever I said, don't see that, don't touch that, don't take this, all those things only will take and will go away. So same thing when a person comes into Oracle database also. You tell him that is not your table, don't touch. He'll say like, I'll touch that only. Because your tables, my tables, everybody's tables are in the same place. And I tell you, please touch this table, but only select the data, don't insert the data. No, I'll insert only. What I tell you not to do, you'll do that only. That's a general nature, no. So how to control a user after he comes inside? So every user is monitored from the connection to disconnection. You connect to Oracle, you disconnect to Oracle. In this period you are monitored. This is called a session. So every Oracle user will have one session. Session is nothing but the time between connection to disconnection is session. Are you catching my point? Now once you are given a session, what happens now? Every user in Oracle will have one unique user ID, and the moment you got connected to Oracle, one session ID will be released. So your session object is a dynamic runtime object which will have the user IDs and session IDs registered. So which user for which session has been connected. Until you do not disconnect, this session ID will be maintained on your name. Now, sir, if suppose somebody else is getting no two users, even if million are connected, will never get the same session ID. Immediately, you cannot get the same session ID even if you disconnect and reconnect also. In your personal machine, it can happen because you don't have multiple connections. But in real time, you will never get the same session ID every time, even though user is same. So that is randomly, dynamically generated. Once the session ID is released, your monitoring has started. What Oracle says is, you go wherever you want, but session ID will come along with you. It's as simple as, you came into my house, I cannot be at the back of you and leave my work now. But wherever you go in my house, I should monitor you now. Be very clear about that. So I am calling one of my particular worker and saying that, iske piche rehna. And you are saying that why? He is the session ID, you are the user ID. Now go wherever you want to go. And I am telling the session, anything he does, record and tell me. He is shaking his right hand, tell me. He did not touch anything also, tell me. He touched anything, tell me. Everything you should tell me, that's all, record it. Oracle will be going on recording like that. This is one kind of criteria of security what Oracle applies. That's okay. Now, you can manage my worker also. Human beings are very intelligent now. So, after I go this side, now you gave some biscuit to that guy. Saying that, अरे यार वैसी बोलता है, तू भी थोड़ा ले ले, मैं भी थोड़ा ले लूँगा, दोनों मिलके पूरा ले लेंगे. So that guy also can listen to you, no? Who can stop human beings in their criteria, man? So I can't believe anybody now. So for session I cannot keep another session now. Why? Because finally human beings only will be there. So session ID is given to you, that's all, to record. But what Oracle does is, it keeps another metadata called as privileges database. Means, which particular user should do which particular work in my machine, on which particular table or what will be available in this location. This is not known to even my session also now. So whenever you touch anything, session will record that first of all, saying that he touched this. Work completed or not is secondary issue. He touched this. What is the outcome of it? Privileges metadata will take that, because there are permissions written here now. You are not a person permitted to do that job. This privileges metadata will reject it, saying that no, you can't do that work. Then session immediately writes another record. He touched that and then rejected. Then I have a log report at the end of the day. Nothing was damaged in my machine, that is fact, because permissions are there. But I will understand who is which kind of person in my machine. At the end of the day, which users came into my system, they went into which objects, they touched which objects were operated, which were not operated. Now I told them not to touch some objects, they touched now. I will get that particular report now, I'll call. Who told you to touch that? No, I did not touch. Don't tell lies. Report is here. That's how every second of security Oracle can manage. You cannot go beyond this privileges database. You cannot go beyond this privileges database. So if my system is having million objects, even if it is trillion objects also, the permissions will be applied here. And after that, Oracle says, keep your objects now. Your tables will be in one place, your columns are in another place, your views will come, your synonyms will come, the sequence, everything will come now. You keep anything now, no problem. Why? Because nobody can go beyond this permissions. All these objects need a permanent place in my database or no? Yes. But this permanent place should be given in the form of files. Files are always part of OS. If it is going into OS, we are very worried now. We are worried. But what Oracle does is it never gives anything directly to OS. What it does is it creates table spaces. So we create table space as an object, and we will tell keep all these objects in the table space, where table space is a collection of what? Data files, where these data files are part of OS communicating via port number. So your table space is a simulation of one disk on your machine. If you say that you are keeping anything in the table space, it's 100% guaranteed that it is in the OS. So finally, Oracle developers are talking to objects. DBAs are taking these objects and they are connecting them to table spaces. Table spaces are connected to files. Files are configured to disk, controlled by OS, communicated through port number. Therefore, if anybody knows that my file is in the OS, is directly going to the command prompt and is trying to touch that file, OS immediately says what? You can't. It gives an error. Why? Why? Port number is missing. Port number is missing. So your files will speak with you only when you go through the SQL commands. SQL commands, not port number. You can't touch port number also. Only through SQL commands, registered as a user, identified by a session, applied with a privilege. Then only you can touch anything. Everything in physical architecture is saved or it's not saved now? Saved, secure? Yes or no? Now, Oracle should do only one thing, man. The total Oracle is now depending on what? Total Oracle is depending on what now? Table space. If table space is corrupted, everything is lost. So that's how you're integrated through port number. Imagine one day your table space is lost. Your files are lost or they are not lost? The files are lost or they are not lost? They are not lost. Files are there in the OS. But connectivity to the files is lost. Therefore, Oracle promises that your data can never be lost. Once you keep the data through the table spaces in the OS, your data is always there. Therefore, the main agenda of the DBA is what now? Protect the table space. If we can protect the table space, never the data in my Oracle can be lost. Is the point clear to you? So if suppose table space is corrupted, what happens now? DBAs will sit and repair the table space and automatically my data file will get configured. So suppose my table space is beyond repairable, what happens? Nothing. Files are always saved, but the only thing is you cannot open the files. So DBAs will sit and re-execute the architecture by creating new table spaces and configure the files to the new table space once again. They will start working. Oracle is the only database in the world which is 100% recoverable by itself. Its recovery is a world record. The worst time Oracle will take to get recovered is less than 3 seconds. Less than 3 seconds. Manual recovery, if we are trying to do, Generally, it never needs. Why? We will see in the coming classes. But if we go for manual recovery also, which is one of the tools provided by Oracle called as RMAN, Recovery Manager. If you use that tool and you go for recoveries, the maximum recovery time you can always expect is not more than 15 seconds if proper configuration of Oracle is done. It's not, see, that's what I'm saying. You are learning one of the world's best database management system software now. By the time you complete this course, are you the best? Prove it. You take your piece of cake, what you need. Therefore, learning commands or understanding is the choice left to you. It's just the choice left to you. This whole architecture, we will make it more detailed, and the detailing will be done as my chapters are going. So, why Oracle is considered the most secure database in the world, you should understand. I gave a very informal diagram at the level of a student so that he can understand. I did not expose my architecture too seriously because I don't want to confuse you. So, once you are ready with it, there are certain things we need to speak to get ourselves into the practicality side of the Oracle now. So let us see tomorrow how we will just move on through the process. Thank you once again, tomorrow with you.